Act 3, Scene 1. Banquo. Thou hast it now, King, Cawdor, Glamis, all as the weird women promised, and I fear thou playest most foully for it. Yet it was said, it should not stand in thy posterity, but that myself should be the root and father of many kings. If there come truth from them, as upon thee, Macbeth, their speeches shine. Why by the verities of thee made good? May they not be my oracles as well, and set me up in hope? But hush, no more. So we can see clearly that Banquo has clearly understood who is behind all of this, all the assassination, the murder, the plotting, who is behind all this. And therefore he says clearly that you are now the king. You had become the Cawdor, the Thane of Glamis, just one by one as the witches had promised you to. And I fear that you have used means foul enough to get it there, get to there, to reach till there. But the witches also promised that your descendants would not be kings, but my descendants would form a line of kings instead. And if the witches' prophecies have already proved true for you, then Macbeth, should I believe that their prophecies about me would also turn into truth? But I should not think in that way, so I must be quiet. So he stops the thoughts in his own mind, and he doesn't allow them to allow himself to delve deeper into them, such as the obsession of power holds over him too, as it has over Macbeth. So a trumpet sounds, Macbeth enters dressed as king, and Lady Macbeth enters dressed as queen, together with Lennox, Ross, lords, ladies, and attendants. Macbeth, here's our chief guest. So he shows Banquo. Lady Macbeth, if he had been forgotten, it had been as a gap in our great feast, and all thing unbecoming. If we had forgotten him, or if he isn't here, or if he wasn't invited here, then the whole celebration would have remained incomplete, and it would have been completely inappropriate to conduct such a great feast without his presence, and therefore all thing unbecoming, and everything would have gone waste, or would have remained for no good, or it would have been totally a waste or unfruitful. Now, Macbeth, tonight we hold a solemn supper, sir, and I will request your presence. So he again says that tonight we are going to have a ceremonial feast, and I formally request you to attend it. Banquo, let your highness command upon me, to the which my duties are with a most indissoluble tie forever knit. So I am always bound to the duty to obey whatever your highness commands me to do. So in a way he intends to say, be it you or whoever. So whoever becomes the highness, whoever becomes the lord, my duty is to obey that particular person. Then Macbeth, ride you this afternoon? So are you? You're ready? You going for your ride in the afternoon? So Banquo, aye, my good lord. So yes. Macbeth, we should have else desired your good advice, which still hath been both grave and prosperous in this day's council. But we will take tomorrow. Is it far you ride? So if you had stayed here, we would have taken some good advice from you, because you always give such good, profitable, wise advices. So they have been proved. They have already proved much helpful in the past, and therefore we had expected that if you would have stayed, then we would have used that today itself also. And then he asked that, do you ride very far? Will you be riding very far? Then Banquo, as far, my lord, as will fill up the time twixt this and supper. Go not my horse the better. I must become a borrower of the night for a dark hour of twain. So he says that I go far enough, and I'm not quite sure if I would come back for dinner. And if my horse really goes much faster than I expect it to, yeah, so it runs quite pretty faster, then I will be riding in the dark of an hour for for 1 or 2 hours after the sunset, even after the sunset. Macbeth, fail not our feast, but please do not miss our feast. Banquo, my lord, I will not, so I won't. Macbeth, we hear our bloody cousins are bestowed in England and in Ireland, not confessing their cruel parricide, filling their hearers with strange invention. But of that tomorrow, when therewithal we shall have cause of state craving us jointly. Hie, you to horse, hie you to horse. Adieu till you return at night. Goes Fleance with you? So he says, and those murderer cousins of ours, so they are referring to Malcolm and Donalbain. They have gone, they have fled, and they are not confessing their crime, their murder, that they have committed, and they are not confessing it, and they have been telling strange lies to anyone who will listen. They have strange excuses and stories to tell, but we will discuss that tomorrow, as well as other matters of the state that are relevant and important. And so quickly go, and such that you can quickly come back even. And is Fleance also accompanying you? Banco, I, my good lord, our time does call upon us. So, yes, yes, my good lord, it's time we get going. So, I should be going. Macbeth, I wish your horses swift and sure of foot, and so I do commend you to their backs. Farewell. So, Macbeth, I wish your horses swift and sure of foot, and so I do commend you to their backs. Farewell. So I wish you good luck, that your horses are fast enough and sure-footed. Sure-footed means they help you ride safely and bring you back. And with that wish, I send you to your horseback riding. Farewell. So I wish you good luck for your horse riding. Then Banquo exits. Macbeth, let every man be master of his time till 7 at night. To make society the sweeter welcome, we will keep ourselves till supper time alone. While then, God be with you. So he says that we shall be meeting at 7 o'clock tonight, and by that time, everybody should wind up their own businesses, and he will also do the same, that he will keep to himself till supper time, and supper time, that is dinner, they shall be all dining together only, and in order to make the company more enjoyable. And then he wishes good luck to everybody. So good luck, stay safe, stay well, like that. Then everyone exits except Macbeth and a servant. Macbeth, Sirrah, a word with you. Attend those men our pleasure. So Sirrah means sir. So sir, a word with you. A word with you, and attend those men our pleasure. So are those men waiting for my instructions? So Sirrah is just another word or expression to mention that somebody, that Mr. like that. And it's also that Sirrah, according to the original text, was used to mention to lower ranked people. Now, servant, they are, my lord, without the palace gate. So outside the palace gate, they are actually waiting for you. Macbeth, bring them before us. So bring them here. The servant goes off. Now, Macbeth, to be thus is nothing, but to be safely thus. So, in my position, if my position isn't safe, then being king is worthless. So, to be thus is nothing, but to be safely thus. So, in order to be the king and remain the king, remaining safe and protecting your life is more important than just sitting on the throne. So he says, what's in the power of a king if a king himself cannot protect himself and keep his life safe? Now, our fears in Banquo stick deep, and in his royalty of nature, reigns that which would be feared. So he says that he is deeply afraid. He confesses that he is deeply afraid. He is gravely afraid of Banquo, and he has a natural nobility in him, which makes him a threat to him. So a risk to him, to his life, to his position, everything, and therefore he is not quite comfortable with Banquo right now. 'Tis much he dares, and to that dauntless temper of his mind he hath a wisdom that doth guide his valour to act in safety. So it is much he dares. So he is a great risk taker, and he is brave and valiant and much courageous enough. And with the undauntless temper, with the dauntless temper of his mind, with the wisdom and determination of his mind, with such invincible courage that he owns, it is greatly scary for me or risky for me, and I should remain very cautious from him. His actions are not guided by just willfulness or whims, but they are properly, his courage is guided by his wisdom, and so he acts much safely, and his acts must keep me, or must I should be also very careful of his actions and his thoughts. So with forethought and much care he takes his every step. He is not a vulnerable one, and not the one who can be duped into easily. There is none but he whose being I do fear, and under him my genius is rebuked, as it is said, Mark Antony's was by Caesar. So he says that Banquo is the only one I fear. In his presence, my guardian spirit, my savior spirit, feels intimidated and uncomfortable, and just as they say, Mark Antony's spirit was intimidated by the Octavius Caesar, by the presence of Octavius Caesar. So Mark Antony was rival to Julius Caesar's heir Octavius in ancient Rome. He chid the sisters when first they put the name of king upon me, and bade them speak to him. And for he was also the one that when the witches called or mentioned Macbeth as the king, then he was the one who intervened and rebuked them, chided them, and wanted them to think before they speak, and to speak to them, to speak to him and not to me. Then, prophet like, they hailed him father to a line of kings. And then, like prophets, they said, like messengers of God, they declared that Banquo's descendants would form the lineage of kings and not mine. Upon my head they placed a fruitless crown, and put a barren sceptre in my grip. Thence to be wrenched with an unlineal hand, no son of mine succeeding. So the witches had put a crown on my head, made me the king, and given me a sceptre too in my hand, but then said that I would never pass them on. I would never be able to pass it on to my progeny. My crown and sceptre will be taken from me by someone from outside of my family. None of mine generation or family will succeed me as a king. So no son of mine will be my successor. So that's why he says a hollow scepter, because it is a hollow scepter, it is a barren scepter, for it cannot be passed on as a lineage, as on the basis of heredity. If it be so, for Banquo's issue have I flied my mind, for them the gracious Duncan have I murdered, put rancors in the vessel of my peace only for them. So if what the witches say is true, then everything I've done so far has been for the benefit of Banquo's children and not mine. Dishonoring myself, committing the murder, being called a murderer, and putting my everything at stake, I have only made the path clear for Banquo and for Banquo's sons, and not for mine own. Destroying my peace of mind and everything only for them, only for the prophecy of the witches, and mine in eternal jewel, given to the common enemy of man, to make them kings, the seed of Banco kings. And so I have given my eternal soul to the devil. I shall be eternally condemned. And it will all lead to what? It will all lead to a clearer path for Banco's sons. So what a sorry sight, or what a sorry feeling it is. So it's pathetic that what for have I done all this? What for have I put my everything at stake? Rather than so, come fate into the list and champion me to the utterance. Who's there? So rather than let that happen, I will invite fate to come into the battleground and fight it to death. So rather than now, when I have gone so far, as then I'm not going to give up, or I'm not going to hand over everything so smoothly to Banco's sons. I'm going to fight, to challenge fate to battle and fight it to death. And then he says, who's there? So the servant enters along with two murderers. Macbeth, now go to the door and stay there till we call. The servant exits. Now Macbeth, was it not yesterday we spoke together? First murderer, it was. So please your highness. So it was. Macbeth, well then, now have you considered of my speeches? So now have you thought about what I had said to you earlier? Know that it was he, in the times past, which held you so under fortune, which you thought had been our innocent self. So he says, you must know that it was Banco who made your life so miserable, and for so long he had been troubling you. You thought I did, but I was innocent. I was the innocent one. This I made good to you in our last conference, passed in probation with you, how you were borne in hand, how crossed the instruments, who wrought with them, and all things else that might to half a soul and to a nation crazed say, thus did Banco. So I told you all about it when we had last met, and showed you proof even. So how you were tricked and deceived by the agents who did the dirty work, and who they were working with, and enough other details that even a half-wit would say that yes, Banco was behind all your situation and not me. So half-wit means a foolish or a crazy person also would clearly understand it. A dumb person. So dumb is not actually a good word. A foolish person. The first murderer. You made it known to us. So yes, you have already told everything to us. Now Macbeth, I did so and went further, which is now our point of second meeting. So yes, I did that, and therefore this is our second meeting, for you have agreed and abided by whatever I have said. Then, do you find your patience so predominant in your nature that you can let this go? So, are you so patient a person? Are you so forgiving that you don't feel the need of taking revenge upon Banco? So, are you going to let him go away even after doing so much against you? So, are you so gospelled to pray for this good man and for his issue, whose heavy hand hath bowed you to the grave and beggared yours forever? So, are you so religious that you would pray for this man and his children when he is the one who had forced you into an early grave and made your entire family turn into beggars, into poverty? So, are you so pious, or are you so pious that you would forgive a person who has not only tormented you but your family too? So, first murderer, we are men, my liege. So he says, we are men. That means we are not going to let it go just like that. Macbeth, aye, in the catalogue ye go for men, as hounds and greyhounds, mongrels, spaniels, curs, sots, water rugs, and demi-wolves are clept all by the name of dogs. So, yes, you are a part of the species called men, but what exactly are you? Because there are so many varieties of it. The valued file distinguishes the swift, the slow, the subtle, the housekeeper, the hunter, every one according to the gift which bounteous nature hath in him closed, whereby he does receive particular addition from the bill that writes them all alike, and so of men. So he says the valued file, so but you can distinguish easily which of these dogs are fast, slow, clever, watchdogs, and which ones are hunters. So who is made or cut out for what, that can easily be seen, easily be determined by seeing them. And you can describe each dog based on their natural gifts that separate and make them distinct from all the others. And it's the same with men. Now, if you have a station in the file, not in the worst rank of manhood, say it. So he says that if you stand in the list of men in some position that isn't down at the very bottom rank, then say so. And I will put the business in your bosoms, whose execution takes your enemy off, grapples you to the heart and love of us. So, because then I will tell you a secret plan that will get rid of your enemy and bring you closer to me, who were our health but sickly in his life, which in his death were perfect. So as long as a certain man lives, I am sick, and his death would cure me. So I need the death of Banquo to cure me of all my worries and anxieties. Second murder. I am one, my liege, whom the vile blows and buffets of the world have so incensed that I am reckless what I do to spite the world. So, my lord, I am a man who has gotten so angry for the beatings that the world has given me that I don't care what I do. So I have always been so harassed and embarrassed and kicked out by the world that I am so angry, full of vengeance that I don't care what I do, what I commit. So I'm not going to give a second thought, but whatever you say, I shall go to any extent. First murderer, and I another, so weary with disasters, tugged with fortune, that I would set my life on any chance to mend it or be rid on it. So the first one says that I am also in the same position, that I am so sick of bad luck and trouble. I am so tired of being at the mercy of others that I would not risk my life on any bet now. And as long as it would either fix my life or end it once and for all, I am in it. So I am going to fight with fate, and I am going to risk my everything for a chance in which I can make everything or break everything. That means spoil everything. So I'm going to take the risk. Macbeth, both of you know Banquo was your enemy. So both of you just remember and reiterate it in your minds that it's Banquo who is your enemy, and the thing will be done. Both murderers, true, my lord. So Macbeth, so is he mine, and in such bloody distance that every minute of his being thrusts against my nearest of life. So he is also my enemy too, and to such a degree that every minute he is alive threatens my own well being, and therefore I am his ardent enemy as you. And though I could, with barefaced power, sweep him from my sight and bid my will avouch it, yet I must not. For certain friends that are both his and mine, whose loves I may not drop, but wail his fall, who I myself struck down. So he says, though as a king I could just use my raw power to destroy him in any second. I can do that because we have mutual friends whom I need. And I have to be able to grieve and cry over his death, even though I am the one who will have him killed. So that's why, and thence it is that I, to your assistance, do make love, masking the business from the common eye, for sundry weighty reasons. So I have to hide my real plans from the public eye for a variety of important reasons. Second murderer. We shall, my lord, perform what you command us. So whatever you say, it shall be done. First murderer. Though our lives, then Macbeth intervenes and says, your spirits shine through you. Within this hour at most, I will advise you where to plant yourselves, acquaint you with the perfect spy of the time, the moment on it. So your resolve shines in your eyes, your spirit, your vigor, everything shines in your eyes, and within the hour I'll tell you where to go and advise you about exactly when to strike the moment of on it, for it must be done tonight. And something from the palace always thought that I require a clearness, and with him to leave no rubs nor botches in the work, Fleance his son that keeps his company, whose absence is no less material to me than is his father's, must embrace the fate of that dark hour. Resolve yourself apart, I will come to you anon. So your resolve shines in your eyes, and within at the hour, I'll tell you where to go and advise you exactly where to strike, because it must be done tonight, some distance from the palace. Always keep in mind that I must be free from any sort of suspicion falling on me. For the job to be done right, you must kill both Banquo and his son Fleance, who is with him. Fleance, whose absence is as important to me as his father's, must also die during the dark hour. Each of you should decide for himself whether you will do this. I will come to you soon. So if you are going to do it or not, I am going to come. So think on it. So both of you should make up your mind and think about it, that whether you are at all going to do this or not. This is your last chance to think, and I will come to you soon. So I will get back to you soon to know your decision. So both murderers, we are resolved. Both murderers, we are resolved, my lord. So we have already decided, my lord. Macbeth, I will call upon you straight. Abide within. So I'm going to call you soon. So I'll call you and abide within. So stay here. Wait for me. It is concluded, Banquo. Thy soul's flight, if it find heaven, must find it out tonight. So if you get ready, so your death is imminent, and let your soul decide whether it is going to heaven or hell. So both murderers, we are resolved. Both murderers, we are resolved, my lord. So we have already decided, my lord. Macbeth, I will call upon you straight. Abide within. So I'm going to call you soon. So I'll call you and abide within. So stay here. Wait for me. It is concluded, Banquo. Thy soul's flight, if it find heaven, must find it out tonight. So if you get ready, so your death is imminent, and let your soul decide whether it is going to heaven or hell.